Hello everyone, this is Matt Jackson, and today for my environmental management topic I'll be talking about the species pictured here, the Pacific salmon, its health and overall status, and the affecting ecosystems that it lives in. So I chose this because it's pretty close to home for me. The Pacific salmon is a major resource in the Pacific Northwest, but also it's been a topic that's been in discussion for a long time and has seen a number of policy changes that directly affect its health and the surrounding ecosystems. And like I said, the history of this species is pretty amazing when you think about it. The Native Americans that settled in the Puget Sound area settled here because of this species. It was a major source of protein, it was readily available, and it's continued to play an important role as the Northwest has developed. As Western settlers came in, the Pacific salmon played a role in developing places like Pike's Place Market, which became quite famous for its flying fish. A number of sports teams and local cities have used the image of the Pacific salmon as kind of their identifying calling card, and it's just an important image, an important resource for the Pacific Northwest, and it's currently being threatened by a number of components, and we're going to just talk about that a little bit here as we move forward. So some of the major threats that are currently affecting the Pacific salmon are overfishing practices and local commercial development. So overfishing has pretty obvious implications. We're going to go a lot more into that later on. Local commercial development, the main factors here are going to be things like pollution, ecosystem destabilization, and habitat destruction. And then also a big factor is energy demands as these cities are growing. The Pacific Northwest uses hydro dams for a lot of its energy production, which is great for renewable energy, but unfortunately, to develop and to gain the energy from hydro dams, you have to develop dams on rivers, and a lot of the rivers that the dams have been built on were once high usage waterway passage systems for the Pacific salmon. So as these rivers have been dammed, the ecosystem is taking a big hit afterwards. Looking at these two maps here, we're going to be talking about some of the affected regions. The Pacific salmon starts its life cycle in fresh water, and so you see here in the northwest of the United States and in western Canada, the many riverways and freshwater systems, they start in this area and then they work their way out to the ocean. A major area that happens at is in the Puget Sound right here in the northwest. And then it makes its way up through the northern Pacific Ocean into the southern Arctic Ocean by the Bering Sea, and then back down into these fresh waterways to continue its life cycle. However, my focus is going to be looking at King County, which you see on the map down here below, is the county that's the biggest city in Washington is settled in. That's Seattle, and also other cities like Bellevue and Tacoma are going through some economic booms right now, which is fantastic for the general populace, but maybe not so good for at-risk ecosystems and at-risk species such as the Pacific salmon. Some of the affecting policies that I'll be later focusing on are the Clean Water Act, the Hydraulic Code, and the Fish Passage Program. Both of these are operated by the Department of Ecology and the Department of Fish and Wildlife through Washington State, and we'll be seeing more in depth later on how these policies are trying to basically keep at bay a little bit the economic development of some of these major cities, and seeing how not just government employees and personnel are combating this, but really how the local populace is identifying the Pacific salmon as an important resource and icon of the Northwest, and how they're doing everything that they can to stay involved and keep this species healthy. And here are some references. So like I said, I'll be very excited to kind of continue this project and see where this thing takes me. Thanks so much, and we'll continue this next week. Cheers.